the first slide that we'll be checking out is the options and the tutorial screens. So back in the alpha, there really was not a whole lot when it came to options. It was very bare bones and minimalistic. So you can see in the screen in the bottom left, it's cycling through different options: gameplay, controls, graphics, language, audio, and credits. This is just like kind of an initial thing for people to work with during the beta, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And on the screen on the right, we have this tutorial. When do you see this tutorial? Because in the alpha, of course, we did not have a tutorial. This is kind of a first time that we're seeing this, and it's very beneficial that it's here because there were a lot of people who had a lot of difficulty with a lot of systems because it wasn't explained in the alpha, because it was kind of, as an alpha, it was scrapped together. So is this how the team intends to teach players about different systems? Is these types of screens specifically?
Okay, what this screen is like about the camp. So this pop-up will actually pop up when you first meet your camp.
Okay.
So anytime you meet something new, there may be some, pop-up images explaining things and so that you kind of understand what's going on.
We have this new reward screen. So at the end of the combats, episodes 7 and 8 during the alpha, after successfully completing the mission, there was a reward screen that popped up. This seems to be an improved version of that screen, including showing loot rewards, right?
Yeah, there will be some chest reward on the battle map. Including that, you can also have the like a reward afterwards. We added that screen, and we have a more detailed victory screen.
We have the UI improvements. Now, last month we had showed off a few UI improvement concepts. This is still a concept, right?
We are working on it right now, and like last one was more like a bake, and this is more like a detail. So these are the forms that we are actually going to develop. So yeah.
Yes, these look really good. This is like night and day difference from what the UI looked like during the alpha. It looks really good. It looks very modern. And it looks a little bit easier to digest information. This is actually the enemy attack ranges. This was a feature that was very hotly requested by our playtesters during the alpha, was the ability to see the effective attack range of all of the enemies all at once. And so by toggling this, you can see that the light red cells are basically danger areas where if you end your turn on them, you are vulnerable to being attacked. You could also see dark red tiles, and I believe the dark red tiles when this video is selecting to move, is that your like range where you can attack? Okay, so it shows you your movable range, cells that are dangerous, cells in which you can attack. The tile overlay, is it possible to toggle that on and off?
That one, the grid can be turned on and off. I think that was on the option screen.
Right. My favorite part is the part that comes from player feedback, where there were people that were basically saying that it didn't feel like there was enough oomph, enough impact when anyone was getting hit. Now, the update and animations, they look really good. They look very visceral. And on top of that, there's that font improvement. That font looks really good. Previously, the only indicator of a critical hit was that slowed down, zoomed in animation, but now we have that strong contrasting font for the critical hit. And I also see a little guard icon as well. We have these headshots, And these look really cool. I've only put up a few of them, but when I had received these, shared images, there were way more. And these, I believe, are for the art book, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Last month, we showed a lot of different illustrations that were being included in the art book, but now we also have these headshots, which are really cool too, which kind of show the designs of the characters. Moving on, we have this is actually a cutscene from the game. Now, the cutscenes in the game, as we had mentioned in a previous stream, there's a few ways that cutscenes are done, and one of the ways is through illustrations, through storytelling through illustrations. So this one is using illustrations to basically tell one of the scenes that is happening in the game. Obviously, we won't tell when this is happening in the game or where this is happening in the game or what's happening in this particular cutscene, but you can see that sometimes cutscenes will be conveyed through these amazing illustrations. And can I ask who did these illustrations? Because they look fantastic.
Well, our art team did, of course.
They're super talented.
Mm-hmm. They are really talented.
I gotta say, this is really crazy to me because I know a few artists who draw, and they always draw in layers. So, you know, they draw in one layer, and then they draw over that layer, and then it keeps getting, you know, layered over layered until you have the finished product. Our creative guy requested, hey, you know, can I get some artwork with some layers on it? Because it's easier to work with. And then he got an answer back, oh yeah, we don't really use layers. We just draw everything in one go. I thought that was crazy. That's bewildering to me, and I think a lot of artists normally draw in layers. So hearing that they just draw it all in one go without layers is that's incredibly impressive. So moving on, we have episode 18's concept. This is way later on into the game. It won't be available in the beta, but we just wanted to show what something looked like, the concept design for a later area in the game. This is not an in-game, but rather just, you know, concept artwork, but it's just to show how some of the areas are imagined before they're created in-game. Mm-hmm. It looks really cool. I like that it's a snow area. I like the contrast. I really like the contrast.
Because we had a lot of feedback where we only had like our battlefield was more like so gray.
Yeah.
Now we have a white, you know, battlefield.
We went from white to gray. Next we'll go from gray to black.
Actually, we do have some green like, you know, battlefield as well, so don't worry about it. It's all cool.
There's actual differences in the environments for the episodes. This is one of them. This is snow. There's a great contrast between the units against the white snow. So it should look really good once you see it in game later on down the line, once this episode becomes available to play. We have a pretty good suite of music. I think it's like, what, 17 tracks total, right? Is that correct?
There are 8 battle music, 7 camp music, and then 1 opening song and 1 ending song.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that will make 17.
Okay, so first, battle music. But let's also listen to the 5th camp music. So,
Okay.
the first question is, will there be some sort of AI setting for the game to make some decisions for you during combat?
Yeah, there is a plan for some kind of auto setting, but I'm not sure it's going to be for the beta. But I'm pretty sure there will be some.
So, what is the intent of this feature? Is it so that someone who's unsure of what to do, the game will help guide them in a direction?
Well, not just that, but if you think about it, like when you're in a battle, you have all over your guys like spread around, and you want to gather around the Eden. Then you just don't want to do it like manually, but it will be much easier to do with the auto.
Okay, so it's mainly used to quickly do a batch of actions to expedite the scenario a little bit for people who can take advantage of that. Okay. The second question is, will you be able to undo actions? Now, we did have the undo function during the alpha build of the game, but that was just for testing, right?
Yeah, from the beta there will be some limits. So there will be 10 limits, 10 times for the normal and 5 times for the hard. You can actually go to the where you want to. So that's one count, if you know what I mean.
Got
so
it.
you can undo any time of the game, and you can stop there and play from there, but that's gonna you cost one time
Okay, and this is per scenario, right?
per battle. Yeah.
Okay. The third question is, are you able to save mid-fights and just load and pick up where you left off?
Yeah, you can actually save during the battle, but then you will have to finish that. I mean, finish the game, and then you have to go out. Then if you come back, and you can start from where you left off.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's very convenient. Okay, the fourth question is, will enemies have a fixed item drops per scenario, or will they be random drops?
There will be fixed. They will be fixed. I don't think there will be any randomized rewards.
Okay, so players shouldn't have to expect to like farm for an item, right? The fifth question is, are there any is there any intent for any of the treasure chests to have loot that you could permanently miss?
Well, I don't think I would like to have you guys miss anything like permanently. So I don't think I would put any like a chest that you miss and you won't get forever kind of thing.
So it's the kind of loot that you should expect in treasure chests. Is nice to have, but if you miss it, it's not too big of a problem. Okay. And a quick question from the chat is, will you be able to abuse saving to always have the best outcome?
For during the battle, because of that, we don't think you can like save and load and save and load. So you will be there. The random sheet will be fixed for the game. So even if you save and load, the outcome will be always the same.
Right. So you can't load the game and be like, okay, this time it'll be a critical hit. Okay. So the sixth question is, will you be able to replay story battles with rewards?
No, you can't replay the story battles. If you want to replay the story battles, you will have to, restart the game.
Yeah, I feel like that would be really hard to implement. The ability to replay stories. Okay. Seventh question. New Game Plus, yay or nay?
New Game Plus. Okay. This is something I like to add, but not right now.
Okay, so on the back burner.
No.
Maybe.
I like to add.
Eighth question. Will difficulty settings impact any of the rewards in any way? So should players expect to receive more or less rewards throughout the game if they pick a certain difficulty, or does it only affect the difficulty of the fights?
Well, they will only affect the combat difficulties. I don't want to have the, differentiate the rewards.
Okay. Quick question from the chat. Will there be any fights that are designed to be more difficult than usual, like secret boss fight kind of level of fights, or optional boss fight? You know what kind of boss fights I'm talking about, right? In RPGs.
You mean like a hidden boss?
Yeah.
As we haven't really planned on it because we can't hide any boss in this
How do you hide? Well, maybe in like one of those like optional fights. It's like an optional side quest. Oh, I lost my necklace in the forest, and then they go in the forest, and then there's a giant 8-headed manticore.
But then that isn't hidden boss,
I guess that's true. Yeah, at that point it's just a side quest.
So if you want to hide some bosses, you will have to have a lot of conditions, preconditions. But then that's going to be something you may miss. So if you miss something, that you're gonna miss your hidden boss. And just before I just said that I don't want people to miss anything.
Does skill proficiency increase your damage with a weapon type, or does it only unlock new skills?
Okay, what it does is if you master it, you will get some skills, right, during the increasing skill proficiency. So among those skills you unlock, there will be some passive skill that will increase the weapons damage.
Okay, so
you will have to get that.
Just by having a higher proficiency, it won't make you it won't make you stronger. You actually have to equip the passive, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Got it. Okay. Will there be any decision making during dialogue or important cutscenes? And I'm talking about, it doesn't have to be like a big decision, like this changes the course of the game or what you're gonna fight next, but maybe some light-hearted decision, maybe for role-playing or immersion purposes, where it doesn't matter what you pick, the game will just continue onwards.
Well, there will be some decision making during the dialogue for fun and not for fun.
Oh, okay.
There will be something that's going to be really, really important that can change. It's not going to change like a story-wise, but it could change something.
What kind of pacing do you imagine people playing the game at? 2 to 3 hours at a time, 10 hours? Okay, so with the structure of the game, this is a pretty good question actually. With the structure of the game, some of these combat scenarios, they're pretty long. So
well, we have like the game divided into the episode, right?
Right.
Like a story scene and battle and the camp section. That I expect like per episode it will be like a minimum 30 to 1 hour play. So I expect like people to pace like when you grab a controller and want to play the game, I want to at least play the one episode.
Okay,
that will be like around the 1 hour.
So they basically eat the game in chunks of like one episode at a time, ideally. So like each episode is its own little package, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of related to the decisions and the hidden missions too. can we expect some hidden scenes or dialogues depending what you do in the camp?
There will be some, but it's not like very important to story wise. But like you mentioned, there will be some, like if you talk with the some A character and you develop the relationship with the A better, then you will see more like a dialogue.
So it's not important for the story, but it's good for character exposition and learning more about the characters. That's good. I remember someone gave that feedback that that's the kind of those are the kinds of things that they like, where it's like you don't have to see it, but you'll have a more fulfilling and a richer experience of the game and maybe a better connection with the characters if you do pursue it. In terms of storytelling, do you prefer the plot to be based more on the characters' personalities or the world events? So, for the story of Lost Eidolons, is it more centered on the characters or the world of Artemisia and this whole greater conflict of the rebellion and reclaiming the country from an oppressive ruler? What's more important, the characters or the war?
Well, what my actual plan is, the Eden story is like more based on the world events. But then, like, I have a plan, like I have a lot of plans, but one plan is to have a story of each characters as well. So I want to have, but this I can't make sure that it's going to be included, or maybe this can be DLC or something like that, or maybe even like a separate package. But I want to develop more like a story of the each person, like Clara.
I'd like to go back to the RNG seed mentioned being locked in to avoid saving and reloading. Is it locked on a per episode basis or per start of gameplay? Okay, so
not as a game file, but when you start the new episode, it will be fixed. So if you save during the battle, it will be always the same. But if you just give up the battle and start anew, then there will be another. I think there will be another seed. I think so.
I see. So if you restart the combat, the seed might be different. But if you're saving mid-combat, then it'll always be the same. As a creative director, how much of your own philosophy on things like society and humanity?
Oh, very, very hard question. But I only created the whole idea of it, so I don't really actually put things on a story. Like there's other story writers. We have a movie screenwriter. He actually rewrite the what we wrote.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, and have a good day, have a good evening, and we will see you guys on the next one. Let your friends know about our game. If you got friends that are interested in games that are inspired from Fire Emblem, that'll be on PC and Xbox.